Panther Nation, what's good today? All right, man. For those who don't know, if you didn't get the news flash on Friday when we did our episode, Rashad is not here today, and I'm up. Let's do a sound check, make sure the sound's good. I think it is, but you guys will let me know whether or not you can hear me or not. But what's going on, everybody? Shout out to KJ, shout out to Ice Up Sun, shout out to Slim, shout out to Saul, shout out to Daryl. We in here. All right. Glad to hear everything sounds great. First, before I even get started on anything, we need to start off with happy Memorial Day to everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed it and remember the reason for the holiday. Remember the ultimate sacrifice that the military has made to keep our freedoms rolling. So hopefully you guys had a pretty good Memorial Day. For me, my weekend was chill. Like I like quiet weekends and things of the sort. Rashad's on vacation. Rashad is on vacation this week. So I am at the helm, and we got a couple things that we're going to go over. News was actually slow this week. So, we went over the PNP confidential before Rashad went, but there was another bonus that I'll get into a little bit. But typically, normally we go through the whole standards of how is your weekend. But like I said, my weekend was good. But overall, it's just a chill weekend. I really didn't do much this weekend. Didn't play that much video games either, but tomorrow's going to be my day. Virtual Fighter 5's coming out tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. All right. What's up, Marcus? I don't agree here, man, but we'll get into it later in the show. But first of all, I got to give some shout outs. As you can see, I'm rocking the A&T shirt today. Shout out to the A&T men's and women's track and field team. They qualified 18 members of the team to 15 different events. The men qualify for 9 events. The women qualify for 6 events for the national championship. I think they have a shot to win a couple of them. Definitely got a shot to win the men's 4x400. They ended up with the fastest time in the world. So this is good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I hope A&T go and bring home some gold. Maybe they'll end up placing in the top 10 overall in the nation when it comes to the track and field teams, which will be a huge accomplishment for them. So the other thing I wanted to shout out today is DMX. DMX released his final album. He passed away a few weeks ago. But overall, he came out with this final album was released after his death. Album was okay. I mean, it could have been better, but you can't expect too much. Let me see if I'll see what I can do, man. Yeah, the DMX album was okay. No, the label wasn't dead wrong. I disagree. The DMX album was okay. And the label wasn't dead wrong. I mean, DMX signed a deal with Def Jam. The album was already completed. It was just a matter of when they were going to release it. That album was done. Like the big song that came out of the album was Bath Salts, and Bath Salts was released during a beat battle with Swiss Beats and Just Blaze a few years ago. That was pretty much the original versus matchup, so to speak. So I mean the DMX album was okay. I mean, my bar was kind of different for it. I think a lot of folks expected it to be on the as dark as hell as hot level or flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood level, and then was X. But for me, I've listened to all of DMX's albums, and I listened to his last 2 in particular, and his last 2 was terrible. Let me see here. You had to send your PlayStation 5 for repair, bro? That sucks. Oh, that sucks. Because I know they're pretty much hard to find. That sucks. But rest in peace to DMX. I think this album was a better closer than the 2 prior to it, so I think I'm fine with that. All right. I have a few things to discuss today. First thing is, man, Luke Kuechly, and Thomas Davis did reunite recently. They had their the annual Charlotte Touchdown Club luncheon occurred last week. And what's going on, Trill? So at the luncheon, Luke pretty much explained why he made the decision to resign from his position as a Panthers pro scout. And it was pretty much, it came down to hunting and fishing. Basically, he wanted to hunt and fish. And I quote, I think a lot of people know I like the outdoors and I like to hunt and fish, and a lot of that has to do with the fall. It's hard to do both. I feel like while I still have the opportunity, there's a bunch of trips that I've always wanted to go on with some friends and family members and my dad and brothers, and now I have that opportunity. I played football for my whole life, and I love the game and everything about it, and I love the Panthers organization. But there are some things I wanted to cross off, and hopefully I get to do them this year. That's the reason. So the bottom line is, man, that man wanted to hunt and fish and enjoy his family, so to speak, man. You can't be mad at that. I mean, if hunting and fishing season's in the fall, I mean, it coincides with football season. And now that he's retired from football, now he has more of an opportunity to do so. I think there'll probably be other opportunities for Luke to get back within the organization, though, in my opinion. I don't think that'll be like a closing mark for him. So from that standpoint, I wouldn't be concerned about it. And I agree, man. He's first ballot. There's no doubt in my mind he is first ballot. When he's qualified to go to the Hall, he's going. There's not a doubt in my mind there. All right. Let's see. Look, man, I don't blame him for walking away when he walked away. I don't blame him that one bit. So from that standpoint, I can't knock the hustle at all. But yeah, man, I'm happy for Luke. I hope everything goes in. Nah, I agree there because Pepper should be first ballot. It'll be kind of wild if he's not first ballot. Luke, I would take Luke because I think Luke did more with less. Excuse me. But I can respect anybody that thinks Bobby Wagner's better. When did I like the Panthers? Man, I've been a Panthers fan since '95. Like since the inaugural season. Yeah, he had a long career, but I mean, you can't knock the 7 years that Luke had when you consider the fact that he had more tackles than any other person in that 7-year period. When you consider the fact that he won Defensive Rookie of the Year and he won Defensive Player of the Year back to back. I mean, you can't be mad at that. Well, I mean, but that was his art form too. Like you can't be mad at that at all. I mean, that was like one of Luke's biggest traits is being able to make the adjustments that it need to make. All right. So let's talk about what's going on, Seeker. Let's talk about Panthers confidential extras because I want to get into there was a video that came out, and it was a pretty dope video when they were pretty much negotiating Dan Arnold's contract. And I think the big thing about the Dan Arnold's contract was, see, I got to figure out how to do this, man. Rashad did not leave me a world of goods for this. Let me see. There has to be a way to do it. Let me see. Oh, okay. I can figure this out. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll pull it up. Give me 1 second. One second. I will pull up the Dan Arnold thing because it would probably be, yeah, I'll do a share screen. Give me a second, guys. All right, let's see here. Let's do a share screen. If I got to kill Google, that's not going to be good, though. I'm going to say I won't do it if I got to kill Google. So you guys are asking for too much. All right, it won't let. I have to kill the stream, and I don't want to do that. But what I will do, I will play the audio for you guys. So give me a second. Oh, it worked. Huh. Oh, so it did work. Okay, that's a good sign. All right, can you guys see that? Now, I don't know whether or not you're going to be able to hear anything, but give me a second. Can you guys hear it?
Should we call Dan Arnold or Burkhardt? Let's see where that's at. Yeah, I haven't heard that he signed anywhere. Have you?
I haven't heard anything about him.
Just to see where it's at and
Okay.
Samir, what up?
What's up, doctor?
Working through it, brother. Working through it. What do you got for me, man? You catch me at a good time. Look, I like your situation. I want the right situation for the kid. And I love y'all's play caller and what you're building there. So, I mean, I want to go catch a bunch of rocks. I'll do a 1 or a 2 year deal. I'm open for business. At the same time, the kid's never been paid. He's worked his ass off. I mean, you tell me what's fair. I mean,
Would you do it? Would you do it 2 years for $4 million?
bro, you've got to come a little stronger than that.
I mean, we still have other needs. We still need to find a corner. I'd rather just do a fair deal that's good for both sides.
275 to 3 is not a fair deal for this kid. Who are your comps on this kid? This is not like the blocking tight end who's never caught a ball. They caught 31 for 450. He has in 19. He played 19 games basically since he was off a practice squad in New Orleans. He had 6 touchdowns. I mean, he's been number 2 on your team in touchdown catches last year. He's the Cardinals' 3rd leading receiver. He had more yards than Larry Fitzgerald. He was 40% play time.
Are you reading off something, or is this all by memory?
This is all by memory. Absolutely. He called me on this kid. Talk to your guy and let me know. Come on.
You talk to your guy and let me know. I know where we want. I know where we can go. I can't do it.
Let me know if you change your mind.
Okay, you too.
All right, bye.
See ya.
I will say, man, I can't be mad at them I can't be mad at him trying to get better. And ironically enough, the last thing, man, he was talking about the $2.75 to $3 million is not enough. That's what they ended up selling for because Dan Arnold signed for a 2-year, $6 million deal. So yeah, it ended up being 2 years, $6 million. So they were talking about it at the end. So I mean, it was good negotiations. I thought that was dope. I love the fact that we get more insider information is how they operate, man. It was literally like, yo, let's try 2 for 4. And the agent was like, nah, we ain't doing that, you know? And the agent was out here telling it like, yo, you need to pay this man. So he couldn't be mad. No, he probably had other options, but I think he probably thought that working with Joe Brady would be the best spot for him. I think if I remember correctly, I think it was $4 million guaranteed. I got to double check. I'm not 100% sure, but let me check. I can check for you. Let's see here. I don't remember. It's $4.5 million guaranteed. So can't be mad at that. Why do you think it's kind of embarrassing, Marcus? I don't agree there. Yeah, the agent wasn't lying, man. He's never gotten paid like that. But overall, man, I like the insider information with regards to that. We ended up getting them for 2 years, $6 million. So I can't be mad at the results there. I believe so. Because we got Darnold after free agency, if I remember correctly. Well, no, I mean, of course you never want your business out in the public, but I think but you can't be mad with the Panthers' access that they have. Like, I mean, they have every right to record everything. You know? And just think when Hard Knocks come out, whatever team takes Hard Knocks, they're going to have all access and they're going to have the ability to edit a lot of video. It's funny. Dominique Foxworth on The Right Time talked about how ESPN pretty much has like the archives of all the draft videos. So like when you bring the camera, so like during the draft, when you bring the camera crew in, they're pretty much recording the entire time. So you get the good, the bad, the ugly. And it all depends on what they end up showing on television. But they have the archives to all of it while they're recording. So as soon as they walk into your house with the cameras, they pretty much have all access with regards to that. Yeah, man. Folks want that insider. Folks want that insider data, man. They want that insider information. That brings ratings to the forefront. So, all right. So in some NFL news, shout out to Sheena Quick. She confirms that there's one team that's been unwavering in their pursuit of Deshaun Watson, and it's somebody with proper draft capital. She didn't really name the team. I have a guess of who I think it is, but she did confirm that it wasn't Carolina. So Carolina is pretty much out of the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes in my eyes. So from Deshaun Watson standpoint, and we should already know it's a done deal anyway, but I think a lot of people still have some ray of hope that Deshaun Watson's gonna come back. Deshaun Watson's gonna get traded here, but that's not happening. We're invested with Darnold, man. My guess is the same thing they did not Judge Stubbs. Miami. It's Miami. I think Miami has the proper draft capital to do it. I think the only other team that probably has a draft capital is probably the Jets, and they have no reason because they have Zach Wilson. I mean, nah, it still stands. What if Darnold sucks? I mean, if Darnold sucks, then we're going to get a new coach. And I don't think Deshaun Watson will be in the running. I'll be honest. Nah, I don't think I'm going to go there, bro. I think if Darnold balls out, I'm not going to be like Deshaun who. I can promise you that. And it's a U, not a W. But if Darnold sucks, man, Darnold sucks. I mean, that's what it ultimately boils down to. I mean, I can't, it's not like Carolina hasn't seen bad quarterback play before. I mean, before Cam Newton and before Jake, we've had some pretty terrible quarterback play. So, yeah, that's my thing, man. Darnold's just going to be fine. And honestly, truth be told, as a fan, that's what you hope for. You just need him to be fine. Like, you don't want him to be terrible. You just need him to be fine. If he's fine, we could probably walk out here with 10 wins. I think our defense is going to improve. I think, with McCaffrey coming back, wide receiver core, I think we'll be fine. You really think Tep will let Rule walk? Absolutely. Like, here's my thing. And I think people don't realize this. I keep saying this. I said it on Friday, and I'm going to keep saying it. David Tepper doesn't know what it feels like to make the playoffs as an owner of this team. And we've already seen how he's treated the quarterback position so far, up until this point. You see that he hasn't shown any level of patience when it comes to this. I think that Rule has to have some level of progress this year. Like, he has to have some level of progress. Like, I don't see a scenario, and I could be wrong, but I don't see a scenario where Rule's going to get a chance to get another quarterback at this point. I think he is in with Darnold. So that's how I feel. He's in with Darnold. Like, I think the moment that he decided, the moment that the decision was made to move on from Teddy Bridgewater, Rule has made the decision that he's rolling with Darnold. And his coaching career with the Panthers is going to ride on Darnold. Now, and I know people are saying year 2 of a rebuild, but the thing is, like, Rule can probably survive an 8-9 record, maybe even a 7-10 record. But if it's below 7 wins, there's no way he survives this upcoming year. There's no way. There's no way, in my opinion. And I could be wrong. I just don't see it. There's no way. Yeah, there's that. But like, me and Rashad was talking about how, like, Rule's never really been around an elite quarterback. Well, we talked about that too. So, like, at first I'm like, man, well, sure. That's true, though, because, I mean, the best quarterback he's been around is Eli Manning. And I don't think anybody's calling Eli Manning an elite quarterback. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but that doesn't mean he's elite. Listen, man, they're tied together. I agree with you, Slim. They're tied together. Like, and I don't think the fan base realizes that. Rule can't go back to college if Tepper makes a decision for him. That's right. If Sam's gone, if Sam plays well, Joe's out of here. And then we're going to have another problem on our hands. Nah, that seat will get hot real quick if they start slow, man. Like, because I think the way our schedule lines up, he's got to start a lot stronger than what he has been. I'm gonna tell you all right that I'm gonna tell you all that right now. Like, he's got to start a lot stronger. Like, he can't be out here lollygagging. He's got to start you got to start stronger. Yeah, you're asking for too much, sir. That ain't gonna happen. Like, I accepted that the enemy ain't gonna make it. Even if we fire Rule, I don't think we'll hire the enemy. I don't think the enemy is on the list. Just my opinion. Yeah, I think people are not realizing this aspect here. The fact that Fitterer is now the GM. Fitterer has no allegiance to this guy whatsoever. Dude, like and that's a 2-win improvement from what he had last year. So I think 7 wins. I think 7 wins would cause the seat to be warm for the following season. Anything below 7, he's gone. That's just my thought on it. Yeah, it'll probably be Sean Ryan. I think it'll be Sean Ryan if Brady leaves. Darnold should win week 1. Here's the thing, man. Like, the NFL is so brilliant, man. Because when you sit down and think about it, if Darnold doesn't win week 1, then he's gonna get murdered by the fan base if Darnold loses to the Jets week 1. I don't agree, bro. Rule didn't hire Fitterer. Tepper hired Fitterer. I'm saying, man, like I don't like people like it's kind of unbelievable to me that people really think that Donald can't be one and done here. Yes, absolutely he can. Let him play off and see what happens. Like, if he plays like he's played his first 3 years of his career, he ain't gonna be here long, buddy. 5th-year option or not. Nah, I won't be out. It'll be interesting to show that Rashad will do. I'll tell you that. Especially if he's the reason why they lost. Like, if he throws like a pick 6 or something like that, oh, it'd be brutal. Nah, man, we can't stoop down to Boston Celtics levels of fan basing. Yep, I'm with you, man. I'm absolutely with you there. And with regards to let's talk about Julio for a second, man. Looks like Julio's about to lead this division, so I'm celebrating some more. So Julio Jones, is looking like the Titans are the front runners, and there's speculation that there is a team that's offered in the first round pick. Sheena also said that the Julio Jones deal will be done within a week or 2. So I'm kind of looking forward to figure out where he ends up going. Once that happens, I will do a fantasy video to figure out the impact of where Julio goes. I almost did one, but I'd rather just wait until we get an official word out on it. I'm looking forward. Yeah, so they're saying the Titans are the front runners. There's talks that Seattle's interested. I think I'm gonna be honest. I'll keep it a buck. I think if he goes to Seattle from a fantasy perspective, I won't be too thrilled about it. I think the Titans would be a little bit better. The Patriots would probably be optimal out of all the teams that I've been hearing from a fantasy perspective for him. I think with him going to Seattle, it kind of splits up the work between him, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett. So I could understand why he could potentially get a first rounder. You can get a first rounder out of him. I wouldn't do it. I think reality is going to end up being a second or a third rounder when it's all said and done. But supposedly there's a team that's got a first round pick out there with a carrot. Tannehill ain't terrible, man. Tannehill ain't that bad. Yeah, I heard. I mean, Peyton was off, but we knew Peyton was offensive coordinator, man. We knew he wasn't an offense. We knew he was an offense coordinator, so we kind of knew that. But yeah, I like Tannehill, man. I think the best thing that happened to him was get out of Miami. I mean, look, man, we're gonna talk about the fancy videos I went over later in the episode, but I think Darnold, the game manager, is gonna get us to the playoffs. Like, I don't need Darnold. Darnold doesn't have to slang to get us to the playoffs. If he's just a game manager, we're gonna be fine. And that's just how I feel about that situation. I just need that man to be a game manager. Manning said something to the effect of, what did he say about Gase? Because it was interesting. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me see. Peyton used to call out Adam Gase all the time. He would correct Gase on everything pretty much. All right, let me see here. You need Darnold to become a savage? Don't look, man. Best case scenario was game manager Darnold first year. Like, if he's game manager Darnold, we'll probably win 9 to 10 games, and we'll probably might be in the playoffs. He just needs to be game manager Darnold. That's all he needs to be. He doesn't need to be superstar Darnold. And since we got some folks watching, man, make sure you guys like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. You know, we need this for the algorithm. So please, ma'am, please, sir. How do you think it'll go to get MVP in the NFL? I mean, who? I mean, I don't know who's going to be the MVP. I mean, if you want to ask me now, I mean, sure, I'll say Mahomes. I'm still like, I think Darnold can do things with his arm that Teddy cannot. But I still question whether or not he's a better decision maker than Teddy. That I think Darnold takes more risk, but I don't know, but we don't know if, and I think that's something that's fixable. So we'll see. Look, man, you can be a Super Bowl champion and be a game manager. Super Bowl winning quarterbacks can be game managers too. You don't think Trent Dilfer was a game manager? You don't think Brad Johnson was a game manager? You don't think Peyton Manning, when he beat us in the Super Bowl, was a game manager? You think that was prime Peyton that beat us? No. He was a game manager. I mean, if you think about Ryan Tannehill, I mean, he was fixable. Josh Allen made a lot of bad decisions his first year in Buffalo. They fixed that. So, I mean, there's things that can be fixable in quarterbacks. It's just a matter of whether or not you're going to have the patience to wait it out. And I don't know if they're going to have the patience to wait it out with Darnold. No, but it doesn't matter, bro. Like, if we have like a top 5 defense or a top 10 defense, you shouldn't have to expect your quarterback to have to be like a top 10 quarterback, because they don't have to be. They could just be a game manager. I mean, the thing is, I think it's easy. It's an easy target to say, well, Teddy was a game manager. Look where he's at now. Teddy was a game manager, and he lost the running. He lost Christian McCaffrey at the beginning of the year. He didn't have a defense. Like, he didn't really have much to work with. Like, if you have pieces around you, you can be a game manager. But if you don't, you can't be a game manager, because being a game manager is not going to be enough. Like, if our defense is still terrible coming up this upcoming season and Darnold's the game manager, he's going to end up in the same spot as Teddy. Simple as that. Look, I'm just saying examples. I think we have a shot to be top 10, though. All jokes aside. Like, I think we have a legitimate shot to go top 10. I think we have a shot to be top 10. I do believe that. I will say that. I legitimately believe that we have a shot to be top 10. And I agree there, too. We definitely have a better defense than Atlanta. There's not a doubt in my mind there. Oh, no. I think here's my thing, Marcus. I think Phil Snow is the best coach we have right now on that coaching staff. I think he will make he's gonna have his players improve better. I think he's gonna have more pieces than he did before. So I anticipate our defense getting better. Yeah, Captain Checkdown went undefeated with the Saints the season before we signed him. So I guess when you have pieces around you, you can be successful, right? I mean, Teddy didn't forget how to play quarterback. Yeah, I mean, our defense got talent, bro. We should be top 10. I think below top 10 will be a failure, in my opinion. We should be top 10. What's up, Big Low Country? We should be top 10. Now, I don't think we'll be the best defense in the division. That's probably going to go to the Bucks, but I agree with you, bro. Like, I don't think people understand. Like, we got like Phil Snow has the pieces. I think the only hole we have is safety, but they obviously don't think safety is a hole either. But if you're going to pick a hole out of our defense, the only hole we pretty much have is safety. So we'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting. All right. Even though Rashad's not here, and I know you guys enjoy it when Rashad is here, I just want to let you know, man, Father's Day is coming and the weather is catching heat. Whether you're a dad, whether you have a dad bod or a rocking a six-pack, make sure you and your dad are smelling nice and shaved where it matters most. Make your dad proud this year and get him and yourself the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 and the Refine Cologne by Manscaped. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 and Refine Cologne is perfect for you and the dad in your life to complete your grooming game. Get 20% off of free shipping with the code PNP at manscaped.com. I'm going to tell you what, man, like I've been utilizing the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 and it's an excellent product. I haven't bought the cologne yet, but I know Rashad has talked many things about the cologne, and I think it's a really, really good product from that standpoint. So Manscaped, the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming, just dropped the Lawnmower 4.0. I hope you're as excited for this as me because this thing is legit. This fourth-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Do you or your dad travel a lot? If so, then the 4.0 is the perfect trimmer for home and on the go. This upgraded trimmer includes a multifunction on-off switch that can engage a travel lock. It also gives you the ability to turn on the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave, and it's waterproof. That's the key. It's waterproof, guys. You can now shave your balls in the dark, the shower, and anywhere your heart desires. The Lawnmower 4.0 also even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard lengths with sizes 1 through 4. The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery life last longer. Fellas, it's time to pull the plug on wire trimmers and your wild bush. You know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? After you guys have clean balls, clean up your cologne game with the Refine Cologne from Manscaped. With the same signature scent that's all in Manscaped formulas, this cologne is a perfect complement to the collection. Light, approachable, and gentlemanly in all the right ways. If the old man is smelling a little funky, this cologne is a surefire way to change that and make him the talk of the summer. Men in the house deserves to smell like a king. Whether it's a gift for you, your dad, or men in your life, choose Manscaped. Get 20% off of free shipping using the code PNP at manscaped.com, and your balls will thank you. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code PNP. Don't forget that you came from your dad's balls this year. Show your original home some love with Manscaped. All right. Look, man, Father's Day is approaching, and you got it. Look, 20% off, free shipping. Get it popping, man, because your balls will absolutely thank you. Oh, look, man, that spotlight is clutch, bro. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Spotlight is clutch. Spotlight is clutch. All right. And shout out to all the Patreon subscribers. Shout out to everybody that's part of the Discord. For those who don't know, for those who haven't been aware, I've been posting fantasy videos pretty much constantly over the past few weeks, called Days Fantasy Focus. And I'm planning on doing, and for my Patreon subscribers, I was going to do a fantasy Q&A. So I'm going to give a sample of that now. So if you guys have any fantasy questions, just come at me. If you guys watch the videos and have any questions about what I thought about it, I'm going to have 2 more videos coming out this week. One's going to be a mock draft. Another one's going to be talking about the 5 backfields to avoid, and I'll name a couple other ones as well. Look, man, I'm telling you. Listen, man, underrated statement right here, bro. Underrated statement. Could Federer be trying to rebuild the Legion of Boom? Absolutely, he's trying to rebuild the Legion of Boom, man. Like I think the draft picks with Keith Taylor and J.C. Horn shows that. Look, man, I think people forget that he was one of the minority owners that wanted to fire Tomlin. I think people don't realize that. He wanted Tomlin out of here. So, and you're talking about a coach. You're talking about a Mike Tomlin who's never had a losing season, and he wanted him gone. He wanted him out. So he wanted out a coach who's won a Super Bowl, never had a losing season. But you're saying that Matt Rule can go 4-13 or 5-12 and keep his job. It's not happening. Not happening. Good point, Marcus. He was a Steelers minority owner too, and he was firing coaches like there was no tomorrow. And the thing is, Tepper's a brand new owner, so he might be just doing it now. And now this is going to be his opportunity to actually hire a guy with an actual GM and see how it goes. So. I think you could say that the staff expects more than the game manager from Darnold. But if you look at how they drafted, they're gonna want that man to be a game manager, bro. They don't draft Tommy Tremble. They don't want that man to be a game manager. They don't try to fix the line. They don't want that man to be a game manager. I mean, I think Terrence Marshall's a good pick. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Robbie Anderson because there's some speculations that Robbie might get traded, but I think he's going to be game manager status the first year. I really do. Like, I think I don't understand what people expect out of Darnold. I mean, I think if you consider what Darnold has done his first 3 years in the NFL, I think that's what you guys need to kind of hope he does. Because, I mean, do I think he has the potential to be more than a game manager? Sure. But I think we have to be a little bit more realistic about the expectation of him. Like, I think everybody's expecting this huge upgrade from Teddy Bridgewater, and I think y'all are going to be sorely disappointed. I just want you guys – all I ask is for the fan base to be consistent. Because if Darnold plays terrible, I want you guys to go at him, just like y'all went at Teddy. And at this point, he ain't going to have the same excuses as Teddy either, because he's probably going to have a better defense than what Teddy had to work with. He's probably going to have a better running game for sure. So we'll see. I think everybody's sleeping on the Saints, man. I think the Saints got a shot. They got a shot to have some damage. I think it's too soon to – I think a lot of people don't like how Hurney operated, but I don't think I want to go ahead and say he's a terrible GM. I mean, the dude, he could have been a better GM, but, you know, I like what Federer did in his first year, but it's too early. Now, that's a good question. What he's worth on the trade market? I mean, a low round pick, 5th round, 6th round pick, 4th round maybe. I mean, I don't think he's worth as much as we think he is. I mean, he's not going to be worth that much in the market, especially if they want out. He ain't going to have no leverage. Me and Rashad was arguing about this last week, man. The line ain't that bad. The line is probably, the line's better than what he had with the Jets. I think we still got an issue with the left tackle position. But I think every other position should be improved, especially depth-wise. So it'll be interesting to see. Well, I mean, dude, like you can see scenarios where he could actually be worse. I mean, I think folks need to go look at what Darnold did with the Jets. And I think you guys really need to look at what's the best way to put it? You need to look at what he did with the Jets, and you need to not just blame the Jets. Because there were some mistakes that he made that wasn't the Jets' fault. So you just got to keep that in mind. Oh, Horn's a problem, man. Well, no, I disagree, bro. I absolutely disagree. Like, I disagree. Like, until we gave Teddy an opportunity, there was no reason to walk away from Teddy other than that gruesome injury. Like, that man's had 3 years. 3 years is typically the bar whether or not you're a bust or not. Truth be told, his time should have been up. If you want to keep it a buck, like typically 3 years is all you're gonna get as a quarterback. So this is pretty much his last chance. Dude, there's younger people that make it out that doesn't last in the NFL as long as he has. I mean, the average shelf age for an NFL player is 3.5 years. So I mean, he's heading into year 4. I don't think they're gonna let Robbie Anderson go though. I mean, I think they might not re-sign him, but if there's a team, let's say there's a team that needs wide receiver help now, thinks they could potentially have him over the hump, then you make the move and see what happens. You really can't believe this. You can't. Jameis Winston, the defense. Like, I mean, everybody thinks Jameis is terrible. He's not. People forget the man threw 5,000 yards before they picked up Brady with the Bucks. Dude ain't bad. Which Broncos wide receiver will hit 1,000 this year? Judy. Actually, well, Sutton's gonna be back. That's hard, man. Could be both. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater has a habit of getting 1,000 yards from multiple people. Could be both. Could be Sutton and Judy. And then everybody's not going to give Teddy any credit for that either, right? I think Teddy is going to win the job in Denver. So I like Noah Fant. He's a top 10 tight end. I think he's gonna end up being the third target for him. So I like Noah Fant. I do. For fantasy, I like him. I think he's a target that I had that's on my list for sure. So for the remainder of the show, I'm going to focus primarily on fantasy. Like I've already released 11 videos. I talked about how I think Cam's going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback. I talked about how Chris McCaffrey is going to be the number 1 overall pick. I think he still should be the number 1 overall pick in fantasy. I talked about how whether or not you should draft Sam Darnold in your fantasy leagues. I talked about whether or not Josh Allen's a QB1 or not. You know, it's funny. Like in my mock draft, it was interesting. Like now, the mock draft that I did that you guys are going to see on Friday, I actually was able to. Some of the things that I said kind of bear true, particularly about the quarterback position, particularly about. And I had the number 1 overall pick, so for me, I took McCaffrey, obviously. So. But the next mock draft that I do next week, I'll likely do 0 RB. So let's see here. Dog, Teddy's starting. Let's not kid ourselves, man. Like I think you guys are blinded because of how Teddy was for us. But let's not kid ourselves, man. Teddy's gonna start in Denver. He's gonna start. And he knows he's gonna start. He's gonna win out, he's gonna beat out Drew Lock. All of them. Yo, man, the Melvin Gordon situation is interesting. I think he should fall in draft boards a bit, but I think he's still going to be the primary guy, even with Javonte Williams there. I mean, they might have enough space for a two-headed monster there, but you can't expect more than RB3 like flex status for Melvin Gordon at this point, because Javonte Williams could eventually end up taking the job at the end of the year when it's all said and done. Well, what did you expect, man? It's New England, man. They're going to be sorely disappointed. I think everybody thinks that Mac Jones is going to win that job or get the job eventually. And I think they're trying to speed track it. So if Cam could potentially, he could be gone within the first month or two if he's playing terrible. But I think the free agency was all about trying to get Cam some help. So I think they're going to give Cam an opportunity to do it. And I think Cam's going to show up. I think the fan base are turning around a bit, man. I hope so. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't know if Mac Jones is going to be their answer that they want. I mean, they thought Jarrett Stidham was going to beat Cam Newton out, so go figure. Like, the moment when I saw that they said that Jarrett Stidham was going to beat out Cam Newton is the moment that I knew that, it ain't even about talent at that point. And then Cam got the Rona, and then you saw what happens when you have Jarrett Stidham out there. Number one wide receiver in fantasy if Aaron Rodgers plays is Devontae Adams. Then after that, it's Stephon Diggs. So, I mean, it's Adams, Diggs, Hopkins. Those are the three. I don't think that's happening. The Packers ain't going to trade him. Packers ain't trading him. I think Rodgers will retire first before the Packers trade him. I'm not there yet, man. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to face Saquon. I'm not there yet. Even though they did favorite RB handcuff. Your favorite RB handcuff is the guy that you take. But, for me, it's Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard's my favorite handcuff. Because that's the number one running back in fantasy. And you need to grab his backup. Chuba Hubbard. By far. Because Chuba becomes a top 10 fantasy running back at that point. Texans running backs. Oof. I talked about them in my 5 worst backfields. They made the list for sure. But, I mean, if you're going to take one, David Johnson's the one you take. I think this is Cam Akers' time, man. I really do. I think this is Cam Akers' time. Oof. I think Deontay Johnson's going to do it, but Juju is still there, so it's still a concern. I mean, according to Aaron Rodgers, man, him making the move has nothing to do with Jordan Love. If you want to believe Aaron Rodgers, it has nothing to do with him. He likes the kid. Yeah, I like Cam Akers this year, man. I think the only thing I'm worried about is if Stafford brings his Detroit habits to LA. Because if he brings his Detroit habits to LA, they're going to be slinging it more, which means they're not going to run the ball as much. But yeah, and I talked about the tight end wasteland. The tight end wasteland is always a thing. I always feel like, and just to give you some spoilers on the mock draft that I did, Travis Kelce went 7th. He went in the first round. I believe Waller, if I remember correctly, he went in the 3rd, maybe the 2nd round. So you're gonna have to think hard. Appreciate it, Big Low Country, man. It's fun. I love doing fantasy. Like I'm pretty much in it. I only did 2 videos this week because of the break, and I got a lot of things going on at work, but they'll be posted. One's gonna be posted Wednesday. Wednesday's gonna be about the worst backfields, and Friday's gonna be the mock draft. Najee is borderline RB1. Najee's borderline RB1. That's too many touchdowns for Mr. Darnold, man. You guys are asking for too much. That's way too many touchdowns for him. I had him projected as 24. I had him projected as 24 touchdowns for this year. So you guys are like really tripping on that one. I had him projected as 24. Let me see here. Let's see. Yeah, I had him projected as 24. I don't know if this is. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm gonna tell you that right now because CEH ended up not being as good as we thought he was gonna be, considering where he got drafted. I think Najee has the potential to do better, but we'll see. Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. You never want to go heavy on any team. It ain't even about your fandom with the Panthers. I think when it comes to fantasy, you want to be pretty diverse because you don't want to have to be dependent on one squad for your team to run. Cooper Hall. I was Scott B, man. That depending on how old you are, you might not know where Scott B is. Because Scott B ain't even on campus anymore. Oh, Montgomery, man. Tariq Cohen's coming back. I can't put him as an RB1. Tariq Cohen's going to take some of his work. 2 TDs a game is not doable. He never averaged that in his career. Like we're asking for way too much. That man's never averaged that in his career. I think that's super aggressive. Yo, if he throws 4 or 3 touchdowns, we're going to sign Sam Darnold to a long extension. I'm going to tell you that right now, but that ain't happening either. I mean, did they win? Did they win the chip? No, I don't think we'll make a move for Eric B next year. And I'm not rooting for Rule to get fired by any stretch of the imagination. I hope the guy succeeds, but I don't think Eric B is even on the radar if we have to fire our coach. Bro, it matters, man. So I mean, let's keep it a buck. We criticized Teddy Bridgewater for his inability to not execute what he had, even though he had 4 players on his roster that had 1,000 all-purpose yards at least, right? He had 2 1,000 wide receivers, and another one that got 1,000 all-purpose, and a running back that got 1,000 all-purpose, and we pretty much crucified Teddy. So if Darnold doesn't do that, are we going to crucify him the same way? But it probably won't matter as long as he's winning. So I think we're asking for too much for him. So that's just my opinion on that. Yeah, if you wanted Eric B, you could have hired him. We interviewed him 2 years ago. Rashad's in the building, man. Y'all are bugging, man. Let that man go 5-12. You come back to me and tell me whether or not they're going to fire him, whether or not he's going to stay. He ain't staying if you got the same record as before. I promise you that. I mean, no higher than a 4th. I mean, it's probably going to be 5th, 6th rounder for Robbie Anderson, in my opinion. You should already have a Manscaped, man. And don't worry, you might as well go in and get it now because he's not throwing for 32 touchdowns. And by the way, if you're saying 2 TDs a year, that means he has to throw for 2 TDs per game. That means he has to throw for 34 touchdowns in 17 games this year. He ain't throwing for 34 touchdowns. No, it didn't give Teddy Bridgewater a free pass. I mean, if we're going off that, we should have kept Teddy. I'm telling you, bro, that man go 5-12 or 4-13. He ain't gonna be here. I mean, but we are here talking about free passes for quarterbacks. Teddy didn't get a free pass. Say it for the people in the back, Justin. Say it for the people in the back. Yeah, but here's the thing, man. Y'all better bully Sam Darnold if he plays terrible. That's all I ask. Like, all I ask is for consistency. You guys know me, man. If the way the fan base ran off Teddy, y'all better run off Sam Darnold the same way as soon as he plays terrible. That's all I ask. I hope he succeeds. I mean, I'm rooting for the squad. I'm rooting for this team. I just, I gotta see it. Nah, I think he'll do better than 18 touchdowns. I think he'll do better than that. If he only throws 18 touchdowns, you better kiss Rule goodbye. And if Rule comes back, at least Joe Brady will still stick around. Third is too high for Robbie Anderson. We're not getting a third round pick, man. We'll see. Oh, yeah. If that happens, you can forget it. It gives, we can't be drafting in the top 10 next year, guys. I think you guys got to realize that we can't be drafting in the top 10 and expect Rule being our coach next year. Can't happen. Listen, man, let's talk about the physical abilities for a second. Because if you guys watch my Sam Darnold video, there's a fact that you guys haven't thought about and haven't even talked about. You guys are hyping like Darnold's going to be better. But there's one thing that you got to consider. Sam Darnold hasn't played a full season yet in his 3 years as an NFL starter. The most games he's played in the season is 13 games. He played 12 one year, 12 1 year, 13 in 1 year. So when you start thinking about that, you can expect him to possibly be out for a quarter of the season. So you're going to have 4 games playing for P.J. Walker. You guys ready for that? I know you guys wanted P.J. Walker to start over Teddy at one point last year, so hope you guys ready for 4 games of him. Maybe you'll rethink that playing P.J. Walker thing. What do you think about the Panthers rejecting the trade-off for a number 8 pick? I think it was the right thing to do. But the irony of all that is that would have been the only way to possibly get Justin Fields, because it looks like they weren't going to take Fields at 8. Teddy was who he always was. Yeah, I agree there. Dude, Sam got to play better than Teddy. If he plays just like Teddy, y'all should be crucifying him. I'm just telling you. You got to be crucifying him. You got to be consistent, man. I try to give Teddy a pass as long as I could, and I'll give Darnold a pass as long as I could, but I'm going to tell you right now, if it's bad, it's bad, my brothers. If it's bad, it's bad. Darnold literally threw for 19 TDs in 13 games in 2019. He's definitely throwing for more than 18 TDs. Yes, he is. I will give you that. He would definitely throw for more than 18 TDs. I just think you guys got to be realistic about what you expect out of him. But I think the other thing you got to consider, too, is the fact that you said he threw 19 TDs in 13 games, which is still less than 2 TDs a game, which is also reminds you that he only played 13 games that year. In the other 2 years, he played only 12. So you got to remember that this guy hasn't even played a full season yet. So you guys got to remember this. Now, I hope he surprised me and plays all 17 games. I would love that. But he hasn't done it yet. And maybe he'll stay healthy and do it, and I'll be happy for him. But the moment that he's out a couple of games, I'm just not like, I can already see it now. I can see it. And I hope Rashad's still here when I say it. Rashad can be like, Dave, Darnold's hurt. He's going to be out a couple of games. What are your thoughts? And I'm like, right on schedule. That's what I'm going to say. Right on schedule. Look, man, it's going to be, look, we better see Darnold the game manager. Otherwise, we'll be in the top 10. They're close. I mean, you guys gave Teddy all that heat about the 0-8 or 0-9 or whatever it was. I mean, if Darnold wins half those games, we're looking 9-8. Rashad absolutely has been drinking. There's no question about that. That man's doing his vacay. Hey, I said 24 TDs in my video. So I'm with you. I think he's going to throw for 24 touchdowns. He didn't get mono every season. He only got mono one season. Let me see if I can find the RAS scores. I don't even know if they had. Let's see, RAS score for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold had a RAS score of 5.66. All right, let's see what the RAS. I don't know if they did RAS scores back then. Let's check. Score Teddy Bridgewater. And Teddy Bridgewater had a RAS score of 7.18. So there you go. So Teddy was more athletic. And think Teddy was more of a pocket passer, ironically enough, but he's more athletic. If we had the Chiefs on this schedule, what would the score be? I mean, with McCaffrey, I think we'll miss the safety situation. I'll tell you that. I mean, probably like 35 to 35, 31, 35, 28. Like it'll be close. I think we're a better team, but I think Mahomes is Mahomes. Like, I mean, 25 and a half TDs. I mean, you can round it up 26 if you like. I mean, it's only two less than what I said. So, I mean, you can push the ball downfield all you want, but you got to be accurate. And I think that's still a question. That man's never thrown for 60% in his career. I mean, that's a pretty cool prediction. I think you might need to update interception rate if you expect him to take more risk. Rashad did a really good video on the good, bad, and the ugly of Sam Darnold. You guys should get a look at it. I mean, there was some things where it wasn't his fault, and there was other things where it was. So you're gonna have to take the good and bad with Sam. And I think that's not necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, I think Shaw sees the Smith see this field this year, especially if they trade Robbie. Dog, there was a point where the Chiefs had a shot to go undefeated. Weapons don't mean nothing. Like, here's the thing, man. Like, let's not get into the narrative that Sam didn't have weapons, because one of the receivers that we have currently, he had. And I think people keep forgetting that part. And he never was able to get him to 1,000 yards receiving. But Teddy did. And that guy was Robbie Anderson. So, I mean, so you gotta be careful there. That's all I'm saying. The salt from the live draft, man. Let me tell you something. I told y'all we weren't going to take Fields. I told y'all. And the confidential videos prove my point. I'm vindicated. And I've been vindicated. I told y'all. Wasn't even an option. The only way we're going to be able to get Fields was straight and back. And we didn't do that. It obviously doesn't have to be all that. It just got to be decent enough. Yeah, man. Look, the way the Chiefs revamped that line so quickly was outstanding. No, it was obvious, man. Like, the moment when we traded for Darnold, Watson's over, Fields over, just all over. No, I legitimately think that I think the end goal is for Sam Darnold to be our franchise quarterback. I think if he plays well, he'll be here for a long time. I really do. I honestly do. I just think that we have to get past the binders of the Jets. Like, we have to get past that, because I think it's a safe bet to say that we're not as a franchise as bad as the New York Jets. I think that's a fair assessment to say. So it's easy to just say, well, it was the Jets. And it's probably fair to say it was the Jets. But I think you have to get to the next phase. Like, if Darnold doesn't play well, are you going to still say it was the Jets? Or are you going to say that it was Darnold? But I think the end goal is for him to be our franchise quarterback. And I think this is the guy that Rule is setting his career with, his coaching career with the Panthers with. He's not a Band-Aid if he plays well. He'll be a friend. He will get extended if he has a really good year. If he gets 34 TDs or 40 TDs or in the 30s of touchdowns, he's going to get an extension. And this is something that isn't said often right here. This right here isn't said often at all. The fact that the damage could already be done for the Jets. Like, I think that isn't talked about enough. Bayless ain't really in the running, if you want to be honest. Like when you start thinking about the wide receivers, like, it might be tough for Bayless to make the team, man. Real tough. Oh, you got dreams, man. I got dreams too, but dreams don't keep the lights on. Look, man, I think I'm rooting for Deontay Brown to get the starting job, bro. I really am. I'm not saying I don't believe in player development. I'm just saying our owners don't either. Our owners don't believe in player development. Our owner does not believe in player development, because if they believed in player development, they would have given Teddy more than a year. And I think, you could talk about Steve Young and Drew Brees. Neither one of them really had a roster to work with. Not really. Well, especially Steve Young at the beginning. And then you remember that Steve Young, he ended up in San Fran, and then the rest is history. You guys don't get it. You guys don't get it, man. What you fail to realize is that you guys are asking for some player development when this owner has shown that he ain't about that player development life. Because if you're going to go off that, you wouldn't let an NFL MVP go. You wouldn't only give Teddy Bridgewater one season. Like, you can't be about that life if you ain't being patient. And Brees was a Pro Bowler in San Diego. But, Yeah, so how long are we going to be willing to be dealing with a developmental head coach? If that's what we're going to call him, developmental. I mean, let's have that discussion. Like, how long are we going to be dealing with a developmental head coach? Because, if we're really gonna get into it. So they couldn't feel they feel like they couldn't change how Teddy plays the game, so they think they can change Sam Darnold, which is that's fair. I mean, Sam Darnold's only been in the league for 3 years. That's fair. I mean, Bridgewater been in there a little longer than that. But at the same time, if they can't change Sam Darnold, man, we're gonna look terrible. If Sam tried out these stat lines that he had in New York, we're gonna be having a different type of discussion. I hope he succeeds, man. I'm rooting for him. I really am. I want him to succeed. I really do. I do. Because I really don't want to. I'm not interested in sitting through another terrible season. They want more than that, Slim. They want more than that. They want wins. That's what they want. And I can't blame them there. Okay, Darnold is 23. I can name a lot of other 23-year-old quarterbacks that were terrible. How was Jake Locker when he was 23? Or Christian Ponder? I'm just wondering. I hope that he succeeds, but I'm just saying, like, just because he's 23 don't mean he's going to be good. I hope he is good. But 3 years so far, we've seen that he's not good so far. So far, he doesn't look good. I mean, since I've mainly been focusing on fantasy for the second half of this show, but just want to remind you guys, like, last year, Sam Darnold was the 33rd best quarterback in fantasy. And I know you're saying, well, fantasy ain't true quarterbacking, but if you're 33rd in fantasy, that means there's a quarterback that's not even starting that has had more points than you. And that quarterback was Taysom Hill. So think about that. He had less points than Taysom Hill last season. I'm pretty sure he's over than 23 at this point. He got a raw deal. You want to talk about a quarterback that got a raw deal? I love Phil Snow. I said it early in the show, and I've been saying it for weeks now. He's the best coach we got on the roster. Just saying, man. He got Curtis Samuel paid. He ain't on our roster anymore. He got paid by the team. Yeah, man. Like, I think folks don't understand that Darnold, this is his last stand. If he has a terrible year, if he has one of them type of years that he had with New York with us, he's done. He's done. He's going to be a backup for the rest of his career. Simple as that. 23 means he has time to get better. So would you have waited on Jake Locker? Or Blake Bortles? Since 23 means you got time to get better. I mean, let's keep it a buck, man. Or Blaine Gabbert. I'm just naming quarterbacks that, 23 means he has time to get better. Jamarcus Russell. I'm just trying to understand. That's all. Just trying to get an understanding. I'm just trying to figure out where you're coming from with this comment. I mean, yeah, he has time to get better, but he could also be bad. He can remain being bad, and you shouldn't be shocked by that. Yeah, he was drafted at 20 years old. I'm not disagreeing. They can still develop him. I'm not disagreeing. But they could develop him and it might not pan out. Like I hope he succeeds. But we're out here saying, oh well, he could turn it around, but he can also stay in the same spot that he's at. And the spot he's at is the worst quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he's shown something, really? Ponder didn't show anything? I think a lot of folks in the Panthers fan base is going to keep saying that if Rivera keeps winning divisions over in Washington. I mean, so far, if you want to put the tally up, Riverboat 1, Rule 0. If you want to keep it a buck. The dude's already won a division. First, and he inherited a terrible team and had Dwayne Haskins as the starting quarterback, and he still made the playoffs. So, yeah. You keep saying Jets. That's fine. I mean, I'm hoping that Adam Gase curse is the Adam Gase curse. That might be the only saving grace of Sam Darnold because of what happened with Tannehill with Adam Gase. He might legitimately get a new OC. Joe Brady coaches them up, and he ends up being great. And that's the only saving grace that Sam Darnold has. But there's also a grace of him being terrible. And if that happens, he's done. Doesn't matter, bro. Winning division is winning division. Doesn't matter. Nobody had Washington winning that division. You can call it weak all you want. Most folks had Washington being last place in that division. Most folks projected the team being the worst team in that division. So I think as much as you want to blame the division for what Rivera did, considering the quarterbacks, and the irony of it all is that the Bucs' toughest game was against Washington in the playoffs. That was their toughest game, period. Don't believe me? Watch the tape. That was their toughest game. If he actually had a quarterback, they might have beaten them boys. Taylor Heineke almost did it. NFC sucked, but the Super Bowl champions came out of the NFC. So I don't want Rome built in one season, bro. I don't want Rome built in one season. I only want Rome built in one season. I'm just going off what I've seen. No, I mean, I'm positive. I hope he does well. I mean, but I think our fan base need to be prepared if this thing burns, because this could burn quickly. I mean, I think Rule. I'm not gonna say Rule isn't a great coach. I just think Rule's got to show him a little bit more. I think Rule has the ability to be great, but I don't think he's shown enough, man. I think we're out here. I think I don't think we can call him a great coach yet. I think he's a coach still trying to figure it out at this point. Look, man. I keep telling folks, like, I think people are going to appreciate Rivera more the longer that we don't have him. I think when I heard that Rivera was going to Washington, I said them boys are going to be competitive every week because he knows how to. He always had a respect of the players, no matter how bad it got. He always had respect of his players, and that's always important, man. You could talk about how Rivera rolled while he was in Carolina and some of the things you hated about it, but dude had success here. The man won 3 division titles. You know what I'm saying? You can't be mad at the success he had here. Okay. We'll see. But I will say this, and you're not going to like it, but I don't care. When Rivera took over this team, he got more wins than the last guy the previous year. When Rule took over the team, he got the same amount of wins. No improvement whatsoever. And I'm not making it up. That's just a fact. I mean, if it was a 5th, we'd all be drunk, bro. Like, I have nothing for that. The man won his division. Just like when we won a division at 7-8-1, I didn't say, oh, because the division was weak. No. We won a division. That counts. The rule is you win a division, you make the playoffs. That counts. What you want me to say? Man won a division. He won a division when most folks thought he would be one of the worst teams in the league. Most folks thought Washington was going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL because they didn't have a quarterback, and they won the division without a quarterback. Dude, Rivera knows how to scheme with against Tom Brady. What can I say? He won the division without a quarterback. And I'm pretty sure next thing I'm going to hear is that everybody would rather have Taylor Heineke. I'm just waiting for one of you guys to post that so I can end this show. That'll be a good way to close out the show. I'm just saying, like, he won a quarterback. He won a division without a quarterback. That's coaching, sir. That's what I like to call coaching. You won a division with these quarterbacks starting for your team: Dwayne Haskins, Taylor Heineke, and Alex Smith. A one-legged Alex Smith. That's who we won a division with last year. Ron's rookie year, he had a rookie Cam Newton. So I mean, what are we saying here? What are we saying? He had a rookie Cam Newton. He had a rookie Cam Newton. By the way, when there was a time that people thought that we should have took Blaine Gabbert. So go figure. All right. Oh, Watson's got a better D line. There's no question about that. But coaching matters, dude. Like, we can talk about talent all we want, but at some point you're gonna have to give the coach some credit. I mean, you know who else didn't have an OTA and no mini camp and COVID restrictions? Rivera. I'm just saying. Yeah, and that's fine. And guess what Matt Rule is? A defensive guy. Don't tell nobody, though. You think it's an accident that he got Joe Brady over there to run the offense? It's not. Rule is a defensive guy. I hope so, man. I have no interest in another 5-1 season. That's coaching, though. That's coaching. Mike Tomlin never had a losing record. With all the injuries that Big Ben's had, never had a losing record. Dude, yeah. Yes. Somebody's got to win that division. Yes. And I already said that Washington's going to win it again. I've already, like, everybody keep picking Dallas. I'm like, nah, I think Washington's going to do it again. But, bro, Washington, look, Rivera came to a new franchise, inherited Dwayne Haskins as the starting quarterback. You know? Nah, I'm not gonna. No, I'm not. No, I'm not ready. No. I mean, depending on you, like, the Bucs are going to win a division. I think the Bucs are still going to win a division, but I think we have an opportunity to get a wild card spot. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's a defensive guy. He's a defensive guy, man. He's not. That's part of the reason why I questioned the Rule hire was because the way that the ownership was talking about who they wanted as a new head coach, I would have thought they would have went with an offensive mind like a Kevin Stefanski or Eric Bieniemy. I thought that's where they would have went. If they wanted to get away from the Rivera regime, I thought they would have went with an offensive-minded head coach. And so far, Carolina stays with these defensive-minded head coaches. Let's see here. That's a good point. Let me see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I could have swore he was a defensive guy. Let's see. Okay, he did do both. I'll stand corrected. But he was a defensive coach for pretty much the bulk of his career. He didn't start coaching offense until 2007. But the first 10 years of his career, he was an offensive guy. So I'll stand corrected. I have no problem being wrong there. He was the assistant offensive line coach for the Giants. I'll take that. But he's primarily a defensive guy. I mean, he played linebacker in college. Yeah, but he also was a defensive line coach, a linebackers coach, a special teams coach. He was an associate head coach. Then he became a running game coordinator and linebackers coach, defensive line coach. And then when he got to Temple, he got more on the offensive side of the board. He was a quarterbacks coach. And he ended up with PJ Walker. Quarterbacks coach, offense coordinator. So tight ends coach. And then he became offensive line coach for the Giants. Yeah. This is the one that I think we could have had Stefanski and Andrew Berry. Nah, I'll take that. He was O-line coach with the Giants. But I think his roots of defense is in the defense, bro. Like, I mean, that's what he played in college. So, yeah. I mean, he was a linebacker. Slim's not a hater, man. Slim's a realist. So then, if we're gonna roll with this rule, is that what you want in a head coach? I don't know. I can't see the comments no more. That's weird. Here we go. All right. Yeah, this hurt more than anything else, man. The fact that we could have had this guy and he ended up winning Coach of the Year, and the Browns ended up in the playoffs, and we sitting here with the same record that we had with Rivera's final year after they fired Rivera midseason for losing to the team that he just led to the division championship. Bro, in the NFL, you don't get time. You don't necessarily get all the time. There's some coaches only get 1 year. I mean, for him getting 2 is going to be beautiful. Remains to be seen, my brother. Remains to be seen. We'll see. Yeah, but if he had more, okay, he had more talent. Let's say he did have more talent. Team was still terrible. Terrible the year before. He still had to coach him up at some point. He had to get my boy Baker. Baker had to have a turnaround. That Brown say it again. Say it again. That Brown team was 6-10. They had a better record than us. That's a fact. They fired Doug Peterson. That man brought their first Super Bowl to that franchise. That man should have a job for life in Philadelphia. They still fired him. Didn't matter. More talent, but picking in the top 10. Just like us. All right. So what? And we had the richest owner in the NFL. You don't think that man will pay that bill? He'll pay that bill in a heartbeat. Dude already overpaid him once. I mean, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket. All right. Now, it's going to be a fun season, man. Tepper will absolutely pay him to stay home. Why are we throwing not having an off season by the wayside? Like, that didn't matter because nobody had an off season, bro. Nobody. Like, it's one thing if you're going to say, oh, well, the Panthers didn't have an off season, so that's why he went 5-11. But the grand scheme of things is that nobody had an off season. Kevin Stefanski didn't have an off season. He won Coach of the Year, led the team to the playoffs in a tough division. They had a team that that almost went undefeated, or was the last team to get a loss on their record. So Cleveland was in a division with the Ravens and the Steelers, and they still made the playoffs, and they got a playoff win, and their coach won Coach of the Year. So you can't say, look, man, like you can't do that. So then Cleveland, I guess Cleveland must be ahead of schedule then. Look, man, there's been coaches that have been fired after one season. I can name one. You ready? Steve Wilkes. One season. One season. They fired him. Cam Cameron. One season. They fired him. So it can happen. Fair or not. You know? Let's not get it twisted. I mean, we can name coaches. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It does not matter. You guys keep thinking NFL stands for National Football League, but it really stands for is not for long. It does not matter. No, you're right. Cleveland played the NFL MVP twice. That's all. That's who they played. They played the NFL MVP twice. That's all. Oh, at the beginning of the season last year, I predicted 4-12. I was off by a game. 4-12. I said 4-12. I didn't think we were going to be good. But I knew he would get a second year because of the long-term deal. I knew we weren't going to be any good. I had us going 4-12. I was off by a game. They did better than I thought. And by the way, man, you can look at the tape. I mean, I've been doing this show for 4 years. So, but nah, 4-12. I absolutely predicted 4-12. And at some point, we'll probably do it again. If he's patient, then why wasn't he patient with Cam or Teddy? I mean, I got us getting 7 or 8 games. I mean, I don't think we're going to get any higher than that. I could see us going, 7-10, 8-9, 9-8 at the best. I'm going to probably to be honest, man, I haven't really thought too much to it yet. If I pull up the schedule real quick, let me pull up the schedule because I don't remember the schedule off the top of my head like that. So let me see here. All right, let's see. We'll beat the Jets. We'll beat the Saints at home. We'll beat Houston. We'll lose to Dallas. Should be able to beat Philly. So we're sitting, that's pretty good. That's 4 wins. 4 out of 5 games. We should be able to beat the Giants. That's 5 wins. We'll lose to Minnesota. We'll lose to Atlanta on the road. We'll lose to the Patriots. We'll lose to Arizona. We'll be able to beat Washington. That's 6. Probably lose to Miami. We'll beat Atlanta, so that's 7. We'll lose to Buffalo. We'll lose to the Bucks. We'll lose to the Saints on the road, and we'll probably beat the Bucks if they're resting their guys. So yeah, 7, 8 wins. Yeah, we'll lose to Atlanta, bro. We'll probably split against Atlanta. We'll split against Atlanta. So I mean, 7, 8 wins. Like 11-6 is. I mean, I hope so. I mean, I know at some point me and Rashad will do the predictions, but 7, 8 wins. 9 and 8 ain't gonna be enough to make the playoffs. Neither will 10 and 7. It'll be enough for Rule to keep his job, though. 7 wins will be enough for Rule to keep his job. I think anything below that, he needs to have some. There's gonna be a concern. I don't think you guys understand how good Arizona is, but it's okay. I want to hear your 10 because I could see a scenario where we end the season with 4 straight losses. I can legit see that scenario. Maybe, yeah. I can see us lose. I can see us end the season with 4 straight losses. I mean, because the last 4 games is brutal. Buffalo, Bucks, Saints, Bucks. That's brutal. And Buffalo's on the road. Saints on the road, and one of the Bucks games is going to be on the road. So, I could see us close. And I think, and I'm going to be honest, man, I think if we close out the season like that, we end up at like 6-11, there's no way he survives. Even though I think that last quarter, those last 4 games is brutal. But if we end up being in the playoff hunt with like 6 games to go, and then we lose the last 4 games, that might be Rap City for him. I think Julio's gonna be in the Titans, man. And Patriots didn't have no talent on their roster either, and he ended up getting 7 wins for him. We're not beating Minnesota. I'm keeping a buck, man. Like I'm just honest with myself. Like I'm gonna be positive about the team, but I gotta be realistic about the team too. Like I'm hoping that things will be better, but we're losing to Dallas. But then again, I mean, if Washington's gonna win the division, maybe we will be Dallas. But I think by the time we get to Dallas, Dak Prescott's gonna be hitting the stride at that point. He'll be warmed up by the time we get to Dallas. I think if Dallas is running the year, I would agree with you. But I think, Dallas is going to be the 4th game of the season. I think by then, Prescott would have gotten his legs under him by then. It ain't got nothing to do with the talent. Oh yeah, y'all ain't even factoring the fact that Darnold's going to be out 4 games, based on if you go off the data, Darnold might be out 4 games, guys. So, you think PJ Walker going to win any games as a starter? And let me guess. Oh, he won one last year. Okay, I wouldn't give that credit to him. I mean, he did throw 2 interceptions in the end zone. So, I mean, 9 and 8 is fine. I mean, that ain't too far from what I said. But you got to remember, man, like, I got us starting like real strong. Like I got us having 1 loss out of the first 5 games. So. You're right. It doesn't mean I'm going to be right, but I'm right more than wrong. I will say that. I mean, last year I was off a game. I said 4-12. So, I mean, asking me to predict the season, in June or in May, and I'm saying 7 wins, and I might change my mind by then, depending on how everything else falls. So I'm saying 7 wins. I mean, 7 wins is reasonable. 7 wins, he comes back another year. 7 wins is a 2-game improvement over last year. I mean, it's not. I mean, that's not out of the question. I'm just asking to win 2 more games than last year. That's my honest opinion and prediction. I also said that we were going to draft Justin Fields if he's sitting there at 8 too, and I said we were going to take a corner. So, the tape is there. Even if we go 6-1, we can end up being 1-9 and go 7-10, guys. Yeah, people forget about this part, Marcus. He was about to get fired. They wanted him out. They wanted Rivera. Y'all forget. Y'all wanted Rivera out after improving his win total after his second year. In his second year. Y'all wanted him gone. Y'all said he wasn't doing enough. And just think, he made the playoffs 4 more times after that. And we would have fired him. And I'm pretty sure I was one of the ones that wanted him gone. Oh, I said it was either going to be Mac or Trey. I'll own up to it. It was either going to be Mac or Trey. I knew who it wasn't going to be. It was going to be Fields. And I also said that if Mac wasn't taken in 3rd, then he was going to fall to the Patriots at 15. I'll own up when I'm wrong. Nah, he didn't have to go. He shouldn't have to fire Washington. He already changed the defense for the guy. All right. I've given you guys a lot of time tonight. Yeah, that's what sealed his fate. But I don't think a lot of people want to have that discussion. That sealed Rivera's fate once he got hurt again. And it kind of sucks when you sit down and think about it because he tried to hide. I mean, Cam tried to hide the injury from the coaching staff. He really did, and I think that hurt Rivera more than we give that situation credit for. Because I think Cam knew. But all right, it's time for me to close shop. Before I close shop, I gotta remind you guys, man. We got some merch. Y'all need to go ahead, get your darn coin shirt. Even though the green screen's making it look terrible, it's in gold. You know what I'm saying? Get your darn coin shirt at Teespring. And you can get yourself a hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Get your PNP popping. We got hoodies. We got shirts. Go ahead and grab that. But like I said, man, as usual, if you haven't done it already, like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook at Panther Nation PC. Follow us on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. If you haven't done it yet, become a Patreon, and we have monthly giveaways going on every month. And that's it, guys. Manscaped, 20% off and free shipping using the code PNP. Your balls will thank you. And with that in mind, I'm out. And always remember, keep pounding.